Merrick. I'm here to bring you another great scrapbook layout. Now this one again is an 8x8 and it is to follow the challenge from the Global Design Project. I apologise for the glare that comes off my ring light. I did create this without great lighting from outside, so I did need a light to help me. So this is a watercolor background. I am using the 3 colors from the challenge and basically just inking up one of those plastic sleeves that you get cards or things in. The Rhinestones I think came in this one, and I'm just inking it up and then spraying lots and lots of water on it. So it is watercolor and I'm just dabbing it on. Now don't be too afraid. These 3 colors, which is Balmy Blue, Lemon Lolly and Fresh Freesia, they actually are really pale once they dry. So it does look a lot darker when you're putting it on, and it can be quite messy. So I do like to dry mine. I use my embossing tool to dry it off, but I did actually throw it underneath my iron as well to keep it nice and flat. Scrapbook pages do tend to get a little bit warped, but this one was particularly warped, so I did go and throw it under the iron, and of course it doesn't hurt it. So here I am, I'm using the Layering Leaves stamp set, and you'll find I just grab a couple of different stamp sets with different elements. I have marked earlier in the video, I marked where my photo was going to be. So this gives me a bit of an idea of where do I need to stamp. So I'm stamping as if everything's coming out from behind it. And you can see already that some of those colours have started to fade out a little bit, and it does look a little bit watercoloured now. Again, bringing in my photo just to make sure that I'm going to get everything in the right spot. So I love these splatter stamps that are in this stamp set, and you will see me using my blending brushes a fair bit. So this stamp set does come with a matching punch, which is called the Bough punch. These lovely leafy elements are fabulous to ink up with your blending brushes. You will notice a couple of my videos that I do this, and I do it quite a lot. Basically this is going to add more white to your page. Even though it's only lightly inked up, it's quite white. I have matted, so running out of glue there, I have matted my photo onto some basic black so that it does have that little black border to make it stand out. And you will have noticed that I've created a flap with the basic white underneath. So that was pretty simple. Measure your black cardstock, make it a little bit wider, and then double it, and then fold it in half basically. I did use the hexagon punch to create this little tiny tab. It hardly even shows up on the page, but at least it's there to make it a little bit easier to lift up that flap. So the flap will go on as if it's a mounted piece of card. So it's a backing for that black background. You won't even know that it's a liftable element on the card until later. So here I am just adding some dimensions onto the back of this. Now the dimensionals are going to lift it off the page, but it's also going to allow all those little bits, the little bow punch outs to go underneath, and so that they do sit flat on the page, but I don't glue them all the way down. So there is a little bit of that element where they do shift up a little bit naturally on the page, and that's what you want, particularly if you're like me and I like to display my current pages on a little mini easel in my room rather than just sticking them in an album. So there you go. And I think I'm pretty close to being towards the end. There are a few hints and tips that I do want to share with you towards the end, and that is using some extra elements from your stamp sets. So it's really hard with scrapbooking pages to make sure that your title suits your page, and this one I wanted it to be about my husband and I. We're coming up to a wedding anniversary. We've just both been away for a few days and celebrated both of our birthdays, which are close together. But there's also a lot of reflecting going on at the moment. We're almost empty nesters. We've got lots going on with the family. So we wanted to make sure that, I wanted to make sure that I was doing some memory keeping of what it feels like when you have children leaving home and what it's like to just come back to just being us. So yeah, that's pretty much what my journaling will be about underneath. So my title for this one is Thinking of Us, which was taken from the sentiment of the lovely leaves, but you'll see that I just used this Stampin' Write to ink up the part that I wanted, and I have used some non-Stampin' Up dies to create the us part of this title. And I'm just inking it up again with those blending brushes. Once you start using blending brushes, it's great because the ink does stay slightly in there, and it inks up a little bit better. But when they're fairly new, like some of mine are, then you need to ink up quite heavily with the brush so that it actually works. So I'm going to glue the outer section of this onto my page, and then you'll see me in a moment. I'm going to add some dimensions, or dimensionals I should say, to the inner section, which I'm keeping white, and that'll just stand up a little bit more, which will almost be the same height as my photo element anyway. I hope you give some of these challenges a go. Pop over to the design project challenge page and have a go at some of theirs. There's always lots of fun. Scrapbooking, as I said in previous videos, it's not new to me. I actually was a scrapbooker before I was a card maker, but scrapbook pages do tend to take, well, me anyway, they take quite a bit longer. So yeah, I'm returning to my roots, so to speak, and trying lots of new elements. So you will notice now that I'm just adding those extra little touches, trying to keep to the same colours so that nothing really stands out. I'm doing lots of stamping off so that the colours are soft. I'm using this little cluster of tiny hearts. It comes from the Be Mine stamp set, totally cute. And I am keeping like blue with blue, yellow with yellow, the purple with the purple, that kind of idea. And what am I doing there? Oh, a tiny flower. Now the tiny flower came out of the Heartfelt Hexagon stamp set. So I have used several stamp sets. I pretty much just grabbed out ones with little tiny stamps in them so that I can put them all together. And then there's this gorgeous little leafy design, which I'm doing some stamping off, and then first and second generational I end up using on there as well. And then finally, I'm going to add some rhinestones to this page because I do like a bit of bling. I think I say it in every video that I make. And the little trick is to colour in your rhinestones. So I use our Stampin' Blends, which are alcohol markers, to add them in. Now my tip for pastel colours is if you choose the same pastel colour, for example, if you chose Balmy Blue or Fresh Freesia, it's not going to show up on your rhinestones. So go a shade or two darker. I think I used Highland Heather, for example, instead of Fresh Freesia, just to get the purple. And again, I'm adding those rhinestones to the same colours on that page. So purple on purple, yellow on yellow, etc. So this was a totally fun page to put together. I had waited a little while for this kind of idea, waiting for the perfect colour combo to come along, and this challenge definitely did it for me. So thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope you have a go at this technique. It's lots of fun. Bye-bye.